Imagine hurtling through the freezing skies at 25,000 feet, strapped into a rattling B-17 flying fortress, with nothing but thin aluminum between you and the abyss. Suddenly, dots on the horizon grow into snarling German FW-190 fighters, screaming straight at you in a head-on blitz. Bullets rip through the air, glass shatters, and in that split second, survival isn't about bravery. It's cold, hard math. How many seconds until impact? What's the angle of your gun? One wrong calculation, and you're gone. Stick around, because we're diving into the nightmare world of American bomber crews facing these deadly attacks, and how they turned the odds in their favor. World War II's air war over Europe was a brutal chess game, with American bombers as the pawns pushing deep into enemy territory. Flying in massive formations, these crews braved flak and fighters to hit factories, rail yards, and oil refineries. But the real terror came from the Focke-Wulf FW-190, a beast of a plane nicknamed the Butcherbird for its speed and firepower. German pilots figured out early that attacking from the rear meant dodging the B-17's tail guns, so they switched to frontal assaults, diving in at closing speeds over 500 miles per hour. Imagine staring down 4 20mm cannons and 2 machine guns, all aimed right at your cockpit. The math was simple. Head-on, the bombers had weak spots, and crews had mere seconds to react. If stories like this grip you, do me a favor. Smash that like button and subscribe to World Chronicles right now. We've got more untold tales from history's front lines coming your way. Now, let's get back to those skies. Early in the war, American strategy relied on daylight precision bombing, but without long-range escorts, bombers flew alone into the hornet's nest. Missions over Schweinfurt or Regensburg turned into bloodbaths. Crews like those in the 8th Air Force knew the stats. On a bad day, loss rates hit 20%. That's 1 in 5 planes not coming back. But why head-on? The FW-190's pilots exploited the B-17's design. The nose had limited firepower, just a couple of .50 caliber guns poking out. A German ace could rake the cockpit, killing the pilot and co-pilot before the bomber could even fire back. Picture this. It's October 1943, Black Thursday, the second Schweinfurt raid. Over 200 B-17s lumber toward the ball-bearing plants, vital to Hitler's war machine. The Luftwaffe swarms them with hundreds of fighters, including waves of FW-190s charging headfirst. Sergeant John Smith, yeah, a real guy from Ohio, recalls in his diary how his top turret gunner spotted them coming, like arrows from hell. The closing speed meant you had about 10 seconds to line up your sights. Miss, and those cannons would punch through your plexiglass nose, turning the bombardier into Swiss cheese. Survival became math. Calculate the lead, factor in wind, and pray your bullets intersected their path. But here's the hook. What if one tiny upgrade changed everything? We'll get to that. As the attacks intensified, crews adapted. They flew in tight box formations, overlapping fields of fire to create a wall of lead. But head-on, it was still a gamble. The Germans timed it perfectly, hitting just as bombers started their run, when they couldn't maneuver. Emotional toll? Huge. Guys like Lieutenant Bob Hughes, a navigator on his 25th mission, wrote home about the fear. You see their faces sometimes, those pilots. Young like us, but one of us won't make dinner. The math of morale. How do you keep flying when odds say you won't finish your tour? Yet they did, mission after mission, because the alternative was letting the Nazis win. Midway through the war, things got even deadlier. The FW-190A, 8 variant packed rockets under the wings, firing salvos from afar before closing in. One hit could shred a wing, sending a B-17 spiraling with 10 men aboard. Crews shared tricks. Zigzag slightly, but not too much, or you'd break formation. The real breakthrough. Engineers crunched numbers back home. They analyzed gun camera footage, survivor reports, and calculated vulnerability zones. Result: the B-17G model with a chin turret. 2 more .50s right under the nose, aimed forward. Suddenly, head-on attacks weren't so one-sided. German losses spiked, and American survival rates climbed. But let's not sugarcoat it. Many didn't make it. Take the story of the Memphis Belle, one of the first crews to complete 25 missions. On their runs, they faced those FW-190 rushes multiple times. Captain Robert Morgan, the pilot, later said, It was like playing chicken with death. His waist gunner once took out an incoming fighter at 200 yards. Pure math, leading the target just right. These personal tales remind us of the human cost. Fathers, brothers, sons, gone in a flash of tracers. And yet, the bombers pressed on, pounding the Reich until D-Day. Hey, if you're still with me, and I hope you are, make sure you're subscribed to World Chronicles for deep dives like this. We uncover the grit behind the glory. Now, as escort fighters like the P-51 Mustang arrived in '44, the game flipped. With drop tanks for range, they could shadow the bombers all the way. FW-190 pilots now faced Mustangs in dogfights, pulling them away from head-on strikes. The math shifted. Luftwaffe attrition rates soared, from aces like Erich Hartmann to rookies thrown into the fray. By war's end, American crews had dropped over 1 million tons of bombs, but at a price, over 26,000 airmen killed. These stories aren't just history, they're lessons in resilience. How a bunch of kids from farms and cities turned probability into victory. The FW-190 head-on tactic? It worked until math and American ingenuity caught up. Next time you look up at a clear sky, think of those frozen contrails, the roars of engines, and the split-second decisions that saved the world. What do you think? Could you handle that pressure? Drop a comment below with your take. Maybe share a family story from the war. And if this hit home, share it with a friend who loves history. Thanks for watching World Chronicles. Stay tuned for more. But wait, ever wonder what secret weapon finally broke the Luftwaffe's back? That's a tale for another day.